At the
Right.
moment that we begin to see ourselves as the billionaire, have
Yeah.
peace that I could say I am a billionaire. I don't feel guilty about that. I don't owe an explanation for that. I deserve that because I am source. And the moment that I can see that version of me, regardless of what's in the bank, regardless of what bills may show, I am that being. That's the divine embodiment. And that's
Welcome back to Deep Roots Wellness Podcast. I'm your host, Jennifer Thompson, and tonight we are stepping into a conversation that feels like pure soul alignment. My guest is Rashidah Young, an alchemist, a spiritual midwife, and a woman who guides others through some of the most sacred transformations of their lives. Her work is all about remembrance, rebirth, and rising into the version of yourself that you were always meant to become. If you have ever felt the pull to your next chapter, if you are healing, awakening, or letting go of the identities that no longer fit, or if you're just learning how to choose you, this conversation is going to speak directly to your spirit. We are talking about embodiment, intuition, feminine power, and what it truly means to cross the threshold into a new reality. So I am so honored to bring you this conversation tonight. Let's dive in. So Rashidah, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I am super stoked about our conversation. I have looked forward to it since we connected.
Yes. Yes, I was excited to hear from you, and I love your work. I love your content. Like, you are so inspiring as well, and so I was excited. I knew it's gonna be a great show. I just know
Absolutely
already.
it is. There's no doubt about that. And I was just telling you before we started recording, I love your videos. Like, I get inspired and I get pumped when I'm watching them. So you are reaching so many people, and
Thank
it is
you.
amazing. So I would
Thank
like
you
to get
so much.
started. How did you get started in this work? Like, what is the what was is there a point in your life that you can remember, like, this is what I want to do? Or was there just that, I know a lot of us have, like, not a tragic event, but I mean, we just kind of hit that place where awakening starts because something
Right.
happens in our life. What was it for you?
For me, so my background, I grew up in the church. I grew up with a Christian upbringing, Christian school, ended up being a minister.
Did
And
you?
yes, so I was pastoring at the time of my awakening. Now,
Oh, wow.
my personality style, even in church, I was a rebel. So I was
Yeah.
gonna push the envelope a little bit anyway. So that part isn't surprising. But I had just gotten married to my second husband, and he started telling me about just some things, some other books outside of the Bible, or this lady named Lilith, and I'm like, I married the devil. I'm gonna get in trouble.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I used to think things like that too before deconstruction.
And so something just told me, just look into it. Just look into it. And so I began the search. Now, he didn't know where we are, as much as we evolved. But at that time, he just knew that something wasn't right. And I did the research and started just finding information that was out there that I was never exposed to. And it came as with some rage. Like, I was a little frustrated. I can't believe that I had been lied to. And so it started with me with deconstructing religion. And that was the first.
Let me ask you this real quick. Excuse me. Who is Lilith? I've had several people to ask me if I know who Lilith is, and I have not looked into this yet. But
so
who is that?
Lilith was Adam's other wife, the one that wouldn't submit. That's what
I heard.
says.
Yes. Okay.
Of course, all of these stories that we hear are all about energies that operate within ourselves.
Yeah.
But when we actually, when we look at them from that standpoint, she was his first wife, or the other wife, the rebel.
Yes.
The one that so many of us would be.
Yeah. I probably would be a Lilith. Yeah.
So I did a lot of that digging, and like I said, the awakening happened just from being angry that I had been lied to, angry that this story that I had been told, my saving grace. And I mean, I held on to, Jesus in my heart. Like, it was serious. So hearing all these things, but yet knowing it's right, it hurt. And so that was a big portion of the awakening. And that lasted for a few years, just finding out things that weren't true. And we went down that path. And then finally, about 14 years into the marriage, there was time for me to have a personal awakening. And I had started maybe just before that, so maybe a few years in, and I just started hearing about plant medicine. And I was introduced to psilocybin and started working with my shaman. And the first thing I told her was, I don't want to be married anymore.
Yeah.
And we spent 3 years working through that because my husband was my best friend.
Yeah.
And he had been on this journey with me for so long. However, I knew that there was something that I needed to do. There was some self-love that needed to take place. I needed to find my worth. I needed to find my own happiness. And I knew that he was not going to be a part of that journey. And that was really tough. That was really tough. And psilocybin was holding my hand for about 3 years, and then ayahuasca.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
And I've heard multiple stories very similar to yours. So what kind of experience did you have with psilocybin and ayahuasca?
Psilocybin originally just opened my heart and allowed me to see that a lot of these traumas that I had experienced were all a part of a story that I had written. And there was nobody outside of me doing anything to me.
Yes.
I had created these characters to serve a purpose to help me remember who I am.
Yeah.
And so that was really the whole journey with psilocybin, was getting to that point. And then ayahuasca, which they call the grandmother, came and said, okay, baby girl, now it's time for us to make some moves. And we're gonna hold your hand while we do it. And it totally shook me up. And I don't know if you saw the video where I talked about my ayahuasca journey. And when I had my ceremony, I was processing, holding on to a lot of that anger towards my ex-husband, towards anybody, any abusers, I just had so much unforgiveness, and I was holding on to it, and I wouldn't speak up. I didn't tell these people how I felt. It was just, I was stomaching it. So there was a time during my ayahuasca ceremony where I needed to purge. And instead of purging, I inhaled. And so I ended up choking on my own vomit.
Oh,
and I went unconscious for a while, so I was non-responsive for a while. The shamans did call the emergency, that they came. I went to the hospital. So I'm having my experience. So ayahuasca, grandmother is doing her thing. I don't know any of this is going on. And the things that I'm processing was simply this: how long are you gonna hold on to this shit before you die? And I said, oh, okay. And she asked me, would you choose you? And I said yes. And it's, would you choose you? And as I'm answering these questions, and I've had this whole experience, I saw myself, the only voice there was me. But at the end, when she kept saying, would you choose you, which was just my higher self,
absolutely,
it wasn't until I said yes the third time that I was able to be aware. And I heard this beep, 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 beep in the background. And now I'm going to tell you the truth. This is what I said. I looked around and I saw a machine, and I looked down, I had on a gown, and I said, bitch, you're in the hospital. I was like, whoa. But I was happy. Like, I was happy because the level of freedom that I felt, and from that experience of realizing, like, I can't mess this up. Even if I have to part ways with my partner, I'm on this journey to be the best version of myself, to remember that I am source. I'm all that was, all that is, all that ever shall be. There's no mistakes. And in order to really feel that level of freedom and knowing I could move forward, I was just happy. The doctors came running in, and they probably thought I was crazy, but I was happy.
Most don't understand like this level of awareness. And so do you feel like we choose our journeys before we come?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. I believe we write the story. We write the script. I have gotten to a place where I live by this oneness rule, the law of one. And so I realized that we have to go back and forth between understanding we're one. We were all that was, all that is, all that ever should. It's just us. However, we wanted to experience ourselves, and we created all of this.
Yes.
So all that we can see, all that we can feel, all that we can touch, all that we can experience. And so when I look at it that way, when I look at that, I realize, the version of me said, this is what my soul wants to experience. And these are the characters that I need to help me. And this is what I'm going to feel. And this is the trauma that I need to go through.
Yeah.
And this is the pain that I need to handle and process. And so, yes, I do believe we wrote this story.
I do too. Do you feel like we are all one? You say, I mean, oneness. Do you feel like we all come from one collective consciousness?
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
I do too. And that's, go ahead.
No, I was going to say that is a very tough concept to process in our humanness and our human nature. But of course, in my spirit, I feel that's what we are just.
That was the point that I was going to make, because this goes against everything that we were taught as far as, growing up with religion and, I mean, you being a minister and all this stuff. But I remember when I started like unraveling this, peeling back the onion, like, seeing it all. Part of me is in the beginning. I felt guilt because I felt like I was doing something wrong, right? And because it was completely against what we had been taught, completely. And however, there was something inside of me. Of course it was, my spirit. And you just, that inner knowing, you just know that this is the truth.
Yeah.
And
it's encoded in your DNA. These are when we talk about codes, it's coded there. So once you tap into the code, you just know.
You just know.
And you just know.
That's right. And there is an inner peace like I personally had never felt before. And once I was allowed myself to let go, and I'm not saying like let go of all the trauma, because of course that takes a while to work through that, but let go and listen and embrace all of this new stuff, even though it's not new because we've known it the whole time. It's who we are. Just the level of peace, it's just incredible.
Yeah. It was tough, I think, for me, because we had gotten so conditioned to having someone else to blame.
Yeah.
Or someone else to ask, or someone else to do it. And so when I had to accept that it's just me.
It's just me.
That was tough.
Yes.
That was tough. But it was, as soon as I grasped that concept, it was empowering. And I always say, that's how I'm able to take my power back. Like, yes, this might suck right now. This might feel really tough right now. But I put it here because I know I can handle it. And it's something for me to get out of it. And once I get it, I can move forward.
Absolutely. Do you feel like we have to experience basically the same lessons over and over until we realize this? I mean, just like different relationships. We may go through being a very abusive relationship and then get out of that one, but we're going to end up attracting the same thing because we're still in the same spot and we haven't healed and we haven't basically learned the lessons that we're supposed to learn.
Yeah. That was my story. So like I said, I was married twice. For me, growing, I knew that self-love was my main lesson. I needed to find my worth. And so in the first marriage, that was my childhood sweetheart. That was the love of my life. But we were still in church. And so just me being able to walk away from that without the condemnation, because you're not supposed to get divorced. God forbid you get divorced.
No, especially if you're a woman. Do not.
You don't do it. And so, but it was just the things that I was experiencing it wasn't healthy. It wasn't healthy for my emotions. And so I did exactly that. I repeated the lesson because I didn't learn. I didn't figure out who I was. And I felt like I could prove that I'm going to be this good wife and I can do this. And so I get into another relationship with the same traumas, unhealed traumas. Exactly. And he just had to become a bigger magnifier than the first time. And, now I'm in a totally different place. So I know that even in relationships, all of my relationships, and that's just not, dating or with my friends, even with my children, I am able to say, hey, mommy's tired. And so mommy's not going to be able to do that today, but we can plan a time to do that. I would have never.
Because you didn't have those boundaries.
Right.
The people pleasing and making sure that mama could handle it all and don't disappoint anybody. Absolutely. But now you have healthy boundaries and you know your limits, both physically and emotionally. And that is such a beautiful thing.
And they tend they respect them.
Yeah.
And they appreciate them. And what it's doing is even teaching my children,
that's what I was,
you have to put you first.
That's
and
right.
This whole idea of sacrificing yourself for the betterment of someone else is not a principle that we're gonna carry. We're not gonna perpetuate that in our lives. So
exactly.
Yeah.
And if we're not healthy, then how can we show up for anyone else in a healthy way?
Right.
You know, and if we're sacrificing ourselves and abandoning ourselves to keep other people happy, it's teaching your children that is absolutely huge and incredible that they have you as a mom. How many children do you have?
6.
Wow. Yes. How old? What are the ages?
So 20, 27, 24, 21. My twins are 15 and the baby is 12.
Listen to that.
Yeah.
That is beautiful. That is incredible.
Thank you. Thank you. And they do keep me busy. And they've been the older ones now. The older ones were on this awakening journey with me. And I'll tell you what's funny. My oldest, when I found out things just weren't right, we were pastoring, like at the time, had a following and everything. And I told my husband at the time, I said, I can't be fake. I can't lie to these people. And I can't even live this lie.
Yeah.
And so we sat down with the children, but the oldest, I said, hey, some things that we thought were true are a little different. There's more information and we've learned. So I'm having this talk. And she goes upstairs to her room and she comes down and she has books in her room on hoodoo, voodoo, past life regressions. And I'm sitting here thinking, where were you?
The whole time.
She said, Mama, it never made sense. I said, right. So it's funny because now in this work, me and the older girls, we work together in this work. Matter of fact, the second to oldest one, she had a women's wealth activation today. She's launching her program. And so we do this together.
That is beautiful. That's amazing. So tell me more about your work.
So I call myself a spiritual midwife, and I'm a traditionally trained midwife. So yes, I do go into women's homes who want to have home births, but I found that my work in this spiritual community is just that I normally meet people at the time where they are making a shift, a change. Either their identity is changing, they're leaving a job, leaving a relationship, something is going on, and they need that motherly coaching hand to get on the other side. And so people just started calling me that. And I don't know, one of my mentors, she says, you have to always tell the story how you went from pastor to priestess. And I'm like, yeah. And she said, and that's what most people need. Whatever they're doing, there's a transition, there's a shift, and that's when they need help the most. And so I just show up as a coach to help that transition.
So where do you find women? What is the most difficult part for women to transition in whatever aspect of letting go?
Letting go. And that was, of course, your biggest, in this work, whatever your major revelations are, whatever your major traumas are, is where you're going to serve the most.
Yeah.
And so it came to me dying. On dying from my experience. Not that ayahuasca did anything. Ayahuasca was fine. It was me not letting go.
Exactly. Yeah.
Of something.
Yes.
But me not letting go was a big deal for me. And at that point during that time, I had to detach. I remember detaching from my whole life. And realizing, wow, that's hard for us to let go. It's death. It's transformation. It's a rebirth. But if we could see on the other side of how good it is, it wouldn't be so hard. But there's that veil there. And so, letting go is by far the hardest.
Absolutely. And the worry and the guilt for hurting others, I think, would be huge. Yes.
Until you realize that the version of you that's them wrote you in this story to be the trigger to help them heal their trauma. So
what
you're
a great
serving,
point.
When you're honoring yourself, you're always serving the ones around you. When your intentions are pure, you're always serving others, even if it hurts. And it took a lot to get there. But when you get there, you realize, oh, yes, my ex was hurt. He didn't want, but he had to deal with his own abandonment issues.
Exactly.
And I had to be the one to trigger that so he could go get the help that he needed to evolve into the next best version of him. And I'm so grateful I got to play that role.
That's incredible. Women have a hard time. I can see that.
Yeah.
Stepping into that.
Yeah.
Because I feel like there is a huge awakening on earth right now, and I've said that, and I mean, you know, we all see it, right?
Yes.
And women and men too. I mean, it goes both ways, you know, and we have struggled on different aspects or in different aspects, but women, so much has been suppressed for women for generations and generations. And it's a beautiful thing to watch the rebirth like you described.
Yes.
And it's terrifying all in the same.
Yes. I had recently the experience of going to Salem with Aaron Lyons. I did. And she took it was about 25 of us. We all went together up to Salem.
Yeah.
And the week before we left, I couldn't figure out what was happening. I just, and I knew about the witch trials. We read about them in school.
Yeah.
I hadn't really processed how impactful this trip was going to be. And I'm debating, do I need to go? I got this scratchy throat. What's going on? And it wasn't until we got there. And the first night I remember us talking about it, that it all came full circle of the suppression that women have had to endure for just wanting to be themselves and speak their truth, live their truth. And how that carries over when I talk about like the DNA and we're all one, that version existed. And the DNA in me remembers. And so now I have to work through healing that. And so that's a part of finding your voice, being able to speak up. And so just being there and crying tears and just releasing and screaming and opening up that throat chakra was amazing. And it's happening as a collective. That we were just a group of 25, but it's happening all over, that we are waking up and it's okay.
Yeah.
That version experienced that so that we could now speak our truth.
Absolutely. I bet that was such an incredible experience.
Yes, it was.
My goodness.
And just in feeling the energy there was tough, and finding out even the history of things, and everyone, wasn't necessarily, they didn't all get hung. Some of them were drowned. Some of the women, and it wasn't just the Salem witch trials. These witch trials were everywhere, and it wasn't even about them being witches. It was just about stealing and taking from them.
Yeah.
It was really intense. It was really intense, but it was an amazing experience for real.
I think it's so interesting and a bit heartbreaking that that these women, so many, the ones that did, that they were killed for their abilities and their gifts. It's gifts that we all have. And that's one of the things, and of course, I mean, that's kind of what you alluded to, but that part has been suppressed in women for generations and generations, right? Women's abilities, and their gifts and their intuition, and men felt threatened by that. And it's like that they weren't necessarily witches. It's not what we were taught.
No.
It's not the evil witches. And it is incredible gifts and beautiful gifts that we all have. That's what they were killed for.
Yeah. Overstanding their intuitive, divine, feminine power. And that is it. And now, and the thing is, like I said, there were men that were killed as well because they were practicing, because they could tap into their intuitive side.
That's right.
It's unfortunate that even, let's go back to like the religion in church, I was considered a prophetess, and that was okay.
Right.
Even with that though, they want, as long as my gift was controlled.
Yeah.
So there were people, I could do this, you can't say this, don't say, and I'm like, okay, well, now that I'm out of it, I'm considered psychic. Okay, well, I understand energy. I know how to move energy with my hands. I know how to send codes, and I can do things. And okay, she's a witch. Well, I don't really need the label. It doesn't really matter what
Yeah,
you call me. I'm a
exactly.
priestess.
No.
I'm an alchemist.
Yeah.
I'm a
Yes.
teacher, a spiritual man.
Uh-huh.
Well, I'm whatever you. If you are in a place where you need help and I can help you, then I think that's what's important. But yes, the labels will get people, got those people in trouble. Now we use
Yeah.
these terms freely. Like you said, we
Yeah.
can say witch, and we can say
Mm-hmm.
psychic, or we could say sorcerer. We could say all of these
Yes.
things now, but they could not acknowledge their powers then, no.
And isn't it interesting that it's all the same? Whether you're a prophet, a witch, just an intuitive, a psychic,
Yeah.
it literally is all the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I remember when I did tell my ex-husband, I said, the stories of this man being in the sky, sitting in his throne on some ghost streets is not true. And he was like, what do you mean? I was like, it's not what you think. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that's not. And
Mm-hmm.
he was really hurt. He was like, well, how do you know the things you know? I said, it's just me.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just
Yes.
me. And that was
Mm-hmm.
that was hard. That was tough for him. But it took me a while to get there before I could even tell him that. But I was like, yes, yep, it's just me.
Yes.
Just me.
It was a while before I opened up to my husband, and a couple of years. And
Yeah.
we were going to church. I was teaching Sunday school with my son. He was planning on being a pastor. He's 18 now. Of course, he is since deconstructed, and he's, seen through it. And but that's a very difficult conversation to
Yeah.
have.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now, and the thing was, I was grateful because even though we had to part ways for our healing, he
Yeah.
was still a part of the growth. Like once I told him and explained, we evolved. We got to a certain place together. So it wasn't
That's great.
hard the whole time for me. Like I wasn't being somebody that I wasn't. I was able to
Yeah.
tell him everything I learned,
Yes.
and he, we processed information together.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, he came back and he said, the only reason why you did that research is because I told you about. So he's like, I know you're telling the truth
Yeah.
because you
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't. I would have never.
Yeah.
I just would have never. Never questioned God. I would have never questioned him.
No.
I was a
Yeah.
good studious student, even though I was rebellious. I wasn't gonna go but so far. And
Yeah.
yeah.
And if
So
you say something and you believe something, it's because you've done the research, you've done your
mhm,
due diligence. You're
mhm,
just not gonna I mean, you're gonna be you, and
mhm.
I mean, I love that. Um and you bring up the God on the throne, and I don't know that I ever really believed that God was sitting on a throne in the
Mhm,
sky in heaven
mhm.
somewhere. I know that that's what we were taught, but I could not reconcile that in my
Yeah.
brain.
I didn't know that. I think that somewhere in there I had created, just as with any other story. This is I just gonna accept it. So
Yeah, yeah,
maybe early on I don't even think I tried to rationalize. I just accepted it. I just
yes.
accepted it until the
Mm-hmm.
moment I didn't, when I just said
Okay, yeah, this is not,
nope,
and I
mm-mm,
can't do it anymore.
and I can't.
Mm-hmm. So how did your family, like the rest of your family, react?
Well, so at the time, my parents had passed away 2 years before. I
Mm-hmm.
wholeheartedly feel like that was their energy on the other side
Yeah.
helping me along the way. Because had my
Yes.
mom been living, I would have never, even I probably would have just kept it in. I would have never wanted to upset her or hurt her.
Yep.
Um, so I really feel like that was just a part of the process. So when they weren't here
Mm-hmm.
anymore. And then
Yeah.
I have the rest of the family that, yeah, they probably think that I'm still off my rocker.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's just
Mm-hmm.
this, they don't ask me questions. I don't bother them. I don't even put my things on them. If they say amen, I say hallelujah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It doesn't bother me any, I've evolved to that point that it doesn't bother me
Mm-hmm.
because it's what they need at the time. And I say
Absolutely.
everything is all for the greater good. So it's just
Yes.
what they need. And unless they ask me questions or want more, I don't say anything. But I
Mm-hmm.
remember I was a rebel, so they don't really say anything to me either.
I love that.
My kids are fed, they're healthy, we have a good life. And so yeah, it's just leave her alone.
Did you find yourself I have found through this journey that I did not call myself a judgmental person. I did not try to judge. However, when I was in religion, I did to a certain point. And now I'm able to hold space for everyone and wherever they are on their journey.
Yeah.
And it's, I love that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a better human.
I feel like that. Yeah. I was very judgmental. Very judgmental. And, it just, in the upbringing, it just certain things.
I mean, that's just part of it.
Frown upon it or, look down at whatever it is. And now I have a totally different love, compassion, and respect for souls that are evolving and however they are evolving. And, almost look up like, okay, well, you can be so this and I'm so I really have gotten to that place where I just accept people for who they are.
Yeah. And where they are on their journey. Yes. And know that if it's someone that's struggling with addiction or just at a low point, and I say low, I mean just like in their life, just feel their pain, and I feel the trauma, and you can see it. You just hold compassion for them.
Hold the compassion, and like you said, you see it's a coping mechanism. And imagine, it helps you stay grateful that your struggles are your struggles, but it also realizing they are enduring something so intense, and just sending love. And the hard part, like we talked about, us being source consciousness, just all one, is realizing that's the path that they chose. There's no you don't feel sorry for them because that's the path that they chose.
Right.
Now, if they wanted to make a different decision on that path, we could all, offer our support. But if not, it's just standing back and observing that this is the path that they chose. And I love you for that. I give you so much respect that you chose a hard path.
Absolutely. And to most, if we told them or had this conversation, I know so many are like, I would never choose this path. And
each soul knows what it needs. I feel like, I remember, so today is 1 year post-divorce. My divorce was final a year ago. Yes. Yeah. And I can remember early on, I mean, even though it was my decision, I never went into the marriage looking for that. I never thought that, I never not loved him. So I remember having a really, really tough moment one time. And I just thought, it's no freaking way I chose this.
Yeah.
It's no way I chose this. Now, my trauma and my pain at that time is probably if we had to scale it, isn't as bad as some other people. But I remember in that moment thinking, it was overwhelming. And so my soul knew that I needed that to be where I am today.
Yes.
And I just feel like I said, our souls that we choose the path, even the hard ones. And that creates more compassion because, wow.
It does.
The bravery, to do the hard things.
Absolutely. What does divine embodiment mean to you? And how does someone begin to live from that place?
Oftentimes we are going to initially get a principle and try to rationalize it and process it through our logical mind.
Yeah.
Even when I said, okay, my soul chose this, I understand this, that this is the path that I chose. And so there's this logical, rational explanation or experience. And then there's this moment where your body literally shifts into a peace or a calm where you realize I've shifted my identity. I'm no longer the version of me that experienced that way or handle that way. I'm now the version of me that can experience something higher. And that to me is the divine embodiment. We all know that we can have wealth. We all know that abundance is ours. We all understand that. Some of us are living it. and some of us are not. At the
Right.
moment that we begin to see ourselves as the billionaire, have peace that I could say I am a billionaire. I don't feel guilty about that. I don't owe an explanation for that. I deserve that because I am source. And the moment that I can see that version of me, regardless of what's in the bank, regardless of what bills may show, I am that being. That's the divine embodiment. And that's when we see, that's when the realities begin to shift.
Yes.
For me.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And that can be a challenging concept for some to embrace. Just say, I see myself like I'm a billionaire. I see that and I don't feel guilty for it, right? How do you begin to help people shift into that mindset?
That healing journey that we talked about, the judging.
Yeah.
The billionaires that we know of, a lot of us, and I can't speak for everyone, but the billionaires that we know, we've judged their path. We've judged some of their decisions. We judged their lifestyles. We judged stories we've heard about them, whether the stories are true or not. Many of us don't have access to the facts of whether it's true or not, but we've judged these stories. And so to say, I want to be that already comes with having to break this veil of bad or something. So that's one layer of it. And then the other layer is, am I worthy of that? Why would I not? Why couldn't I be? Why shouldn't I?
Right.
Why not? Because the ego version says, I have to stay in the trenches and I have to give all this charity and I have to serve and I have to sacrifice, I have to martyr myself. And that's no. Overstanding that I am one, whatever happens for me happens for the collective. So when I have more, I can do more.
Yes.
So the more I have, the more I can do, the more I can experience, the more my soul can evolve. And so when we shift what we see about the thing that we desire, then it's like, oh, and the only reason why we don't have it is because we haven't shifted into that reality.
Absolutely. Yes.
That's the only reason. It already exists. We're not here making things anymore. Like we're not, it's already there. How am I going to shift into that? And that comes with abundance, wealth, money, health, somebody healing our own bodies. The doctor could say, you have this. Well, in that version, that was good to know.
Yeah.
But in this version, no.
Yeah. And that's another thing. Health. That's another huge aspect of so many lives that they feel, I've been diagnosed with this. And I can relate with that as I was, when I turned 40, my health was declining. I was diagnosed with RA and I felt defeated. And I felt like I have this autoimmune disease and this is it. But then my inner knowing, I knew that it wasn't. And so that's part of when I started researching and learning more. And our bodies are made to heal themselves. And I say that I know all the time. And like you said, it's that version of us that doesn't have that disease.
Correct.
Yes.
Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about that a lot, and he helps you get to the elevated emotion. And one of the things that he says, you cannot affirm it away. You can't rationalize it away.
Yeah.
What you can do is feel it. And so as many times as you can get into an elevated emotion of the feelings that don't identify with RA or any other thing, is how your body, the science shows that your body will heal itself. And he does bring the spirit and the science in it. And it's like, it's almost like, duh, I knew that, but I wouldn't do it. So you kind of feel like this big, like, okay. But he talks about it in a way that it's bite sizes, and he really, that elevated emotion is a way, that's the key to shifting the reality.
Yes. And I think the easiest way up until this point, and I'm sure, I'll learn a different, but to explain it to people is, say, the healthy version of you, or the version of you that has unlimited abundance, which can be anything, right? It can be wealth. It can be love, happiness, joy, health. It's here. The vibrational match, and right now you're here. So how do you get here? How do you raise your vibration so you can meet that version of you, and that's the life that you're going to live?
Yeah. That in the gap moment.
Yes.
In the gap, and this is where the midwifery comes out. There's a phase of labor that the last phase of labor, it's the most intense. It's the shortest, but it's the most intense, and we call that transition. And in that transition, right on the other side is something we call the ring of fire. And the ring of fire will make you question everything.
Everything.
I did this on purpose. I got here.
There's no way I did this.
So in that gap is when you have to decide, do I want it bad enough? Do I really, can I embody it? Do I see that? Am I hoping for this, or do I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that what's on the other side exists? That's what in that gap time frame. And it feels like torture.
It does.
Just on the other side of that, if you stick with it, on the other side of that, that's where it just settles.
Yes.
It just settles.
Do you feel like many people quit in that gap moment? Yeah.
Yeah.
I do too.
I've done it. Me too. But you asked the question, do I feel like you learned these lessons over? I guarantee you'll be right back in that gap again. I can't guarantee you a lot of things, but what I can guarantee is that if you quit, you will have an opportunity to face it again. And
yes, that is such a good point.
Some things a couple of times that I gotten to the place where I don't want to do this anymore. So let me surrender. Let me surrender here. Yeah. And let me let go of the old story. I don't have to hold on to that, and it's okay. And but you quit enough times that you get to the place where I'll just go ahead and do it now.
There's like, how many times am I going to do this? We're on number 14. Yeah. Yeah. Let me finish it this time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So explain, and I know this, but for the people that don't know, why do you say overstanding instead of understanding?
So even just under means that I'm suppressed under this thought. And so without any freedom, without any fairness, without any investigation, I understand you. Do you understand that you don't question God? Well, when I overstand it, then now I can flip that thought and I can stand on top and I can figure out, is the foundation strong? Do I need to do some more research? Is this solid? And if not, let me go ahead and redo it so that I can stand on this solid knowing, beyond the shadow of the doubt principle. And so I say overstanding. And
I love it. I love it. And I've also heard people say understanding.
That's the embodiment.
Yep. Yes.
Does my DNA know it? Like, are the codes there? Like, have I unlocked the part of me that knows? Yeah.
And it seems like such a small shift, but it's not. It is huge.
Yes.
Just that one word that you change, and it gives your power back.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm launching and this is a launch. This is not a soft launch. This is very much so still inside internal. But a billionaire beauty. So I'm talking about the billionaire blueprint.
Yeah.
And I was working through this because wealth is very directly related to the level of healing that you've done within.
Yeah.
Especially in that heart chakra. And so I was processing this and I remember thinking, okay, I've been a millionaire. When I say I've been a millionaire, I've processed that story. I've done it twice. I've had it, not had it. So now, okay, am I going to go back to that, or am I going to do so? I don't have a choice but to be a billionaire, so I got to build this billionaire blueprint.
Yes.
And so in building that, I remember thinking everything, I know all this. All this. And I was laying in bed and I said, the only reason why I don't see it is because I don't believe it. And I don't believe it. When I go turn the light switch on, I don't believe it's going to come on. I know it's going to come on.
You're just going to know. Yeah.
So where is that knowing? What is it that I need to deal with, process? Because whatever it is, let's do it. Let's go ahead and do that. And so I have taken before migraine medicine. And I don't know how all medicine works, but when you take certain migraine medicine, you have a headache, it's really bad, you take it, and there's this stabilization period. And it almost makes you feel worse than you did before you took the medicine. And it doesn't last long, but it makes you feel so groggy. On the other side of that, you have no pain.
Right.
And so I realized I was in that stabilization period. It didn't feel good. Was I willing to do the hard thing? Am I willing to do the hard thing? Am I willing to eat like a billionaire? Even though I don't see it, am I willing to dress like a billionaire? Am I willing to work out like a billionaire? Am I willing to take care of what would a billionaire be doing? How many times have I Googled what do billionaires do? How much time do I spend visualizing myself on the private jet, on the yacht? How much time do I?
Yeah.
And if the answer was 5 or 10 minutes, then you don't want it yet. If you're not willing to work out 2 times a day, if you're not willing to do the thing that's hard, and for everybody you'll find it, but if you're not willing to go through that stabilization period where it doesn't feel good, you don't want it yet.
That's right. And more people than not, they don't want it that badly. Whatever it is, because they don't want to go through that discomfort.
Yep. I stayed in a marriage.
It doesn't feel good.
I was in a marriage. I didn't have a voice. I felt a lot of things. Yeah. And I realized it wasn't his fault. I blamed him for so long, but it wasn't his fault. He never put a gun in my head. He never locked the door. He never, none of those things. I'm mad at. You won't let me leave. You won't. Huh? I didn't want to leave bad enough yet. In the moment that I was ready to leave, I did.
Yes. I know exactly the mindset that you're talking about. And it's I've also noticed, like, I mean, when we're kind of in that mindset, it's some of it, or many people, I will say, they're in a victim mindset. And they do feel like they don't have choices, and they don't have the freedom to choose, just like to leave, but when it comes down to it, we have full control of everything.
Yeah.
We can't, and I say it a million times, we can't control what happens to us, but we control what we do with it and how we respond and our worth in the situation.
Yeah. And that's what it's all about. Once we realize that we came here to experience all of this, we came here to remember. But we get so afraid sometimes to feel it.
Yeah.
And we're shorting ourselves the experience, you know?
That's right.
It's the in-between. It's the gap that we actually came here for. The gap is why we're here.
Yeah.
It's that whatever happens, that transformation in the gap is why we came.
That's
powerful. The reward is on the other side, and it's going to be there. But that journey is what builds you. It's what changes you. It's what gives you the billionaire blueprint.
Yes.
It's what's in the gap. It's what's in the gap. And so, yeah.
And with that, we forget to live the journey because we're so hyper focused on what's on the other side and that we don't have it yet. And we're not embracing the journey and enjoying the whole thing and realizing that, hey, we chose it like you said, and that there are lessons and opportunities in every bit of it.
Yeah. And when we can make that present, the gift, and I say this, it's like being born, you know, being born with this gift, and it came with you to earth. You have this gift. And as you're going through life, your mother, when you're younger, makes sure the gift stays with you. And then you become an adult, and now you're responsible for this gift. You have this gift box, and you're asking and asking for all these things. And you don't know, you forget. I'm just carrying this box because I have had it.
Yeah.
And it's the moment that you realize, I have a gift. I've always had this. Let me see what's in it. And you begin to unwrap it. And you realize it's the very thing that you asked for.
Yes.
That's what the gap is. Everything that the only reason why you chose to come to Earth School.
Yeah.
It's in the gap. It's in the box you've always had. It's your story, and nobody else can change your story.
Exactly. That's right.
And your story is unique. And when you realize that's your prize, this moment right here, This moment of whatever you're going through, whatever pain, whatever hurt, whatever letdown, that's what you're here for.
Yes.
To embrace that, learn from it, grow from it. And then you'll showcase it to others.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that is incredible. And you say Earth School. I mean, Earth is our school, right?
Yeah. We chose to come here. And there's versions of us other places, whatever you can infinitely, when I say infinite, it's there. So
yes.
The only limitation is the human experience. But once we realize we're only in this vessel for short experience. This is a short experience. But this Earth School, they say, is the toughest.
That's what I've heard too. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I mean, even if we live to be 100, if we're here for 100 years, that is still just so little time. When you compare it to, I mean, just eternity.
Time is an illusion.
Yeah, it is that too. There's no such thing as time.
And everything is happening all at once.
That's what I was about to ask you. I was yeah. So explain how you explain that to people.
Just what the present. Stay in the present. When you stay in the present, you understand that everything has already happened. Every decision that you could ever possibly want to make, you've already made in another parallel universe, parallel reality, whatever you want to call it. It's all happened.
Yeah.
And I had to process that you can't make a wrong decision because whatever you think is right here, you've already made 10 other versions of that, 100, a million, infinite other versions of that in other realities.
Yes.
So just focus on this present moment. Focus on the present moment, and that's all that matters. The rest of it it's time. We look at time as linear. It's more this way. It's all happened. It's all it's already done. So just stay in the present moment. And we have to remind, there's as much, all the great teachers, all the greats that have, all of our ascended masters, they worked at remembering that. It wasn't like they always remembered it. They worked to get to remembering that. So where now, this is now my first reality. Before I sit here and panic about the situation, let me stay in the moment. I have life, I have breath, I have food, I have shelter, I have whatever I need is right here. I'm okay.
That's right. Yes. One thing that we kind of touched on earlier is our intuition. So how do you support someone who feels completely disconnected from their intuition? Because, we were taught to not trust our intuition, not to trust our emotions. So how do you bring people back to that feel completely disconnected?
I think with that goes with that inner child healing.
Yeah.
I try to take them back to the moment where they stop knowing themselves. Because the voice that you hear is just you. It's your voice. So at what point did you stop listening?
Yeah.
And what was going on at the time? And normally we can go back to a childhood memory when they didn't feel heard, didn't feel seen, and at that point decided I don't matter. And that's a pretty common one, but it's also a pretty simple one because you can, once you get them calm enough, you can get to that point really quick. At what point? When did you stop? When did you stop? Oh, okay. Yeah.
So how do you describe to people who are disconnected to their intuition, or you're trying to take them back to when they feel like they lost it, but they just have to uncover it and heal? What does it sound like? How do they know it's their intuition and not their ego or fear?
Yeah. Well, where do you feel it? Where do you feel it in your stomach? You feel it in your chest. You feel it in your throat. And so where do you feel? And once you begin to connect with your body, you can start figuring out the difference between fear and intuition. That's what the saying, gut. I just feel it in my gut.
Yes. Yes.
That part of that feeling is the intuition. In my chest, I gotta hold my breath. That's fear.
That's fear. Yeah, that makes sense. And they say that fear is loud, and intuition is more like a whisper,
and not forceful. So whether you listen to me or not, I've done my part.
That's right.
And I'll wait right here until you come back.
I was gonna say, yep, and I'm here. So when you get ready, I'm still gonna be here. Yeah. So how do you personally stay grounded when you're taking on so much from other people?
Prioritizing me. And so as much as I serve others, I serve me more. Meaning I make sure I do my walks. I make sure I'm talking to my trees. I make sure my feet is in the grass. I make sure I meditate. And so
Yes.
from that place of self-care, I'm able to serve others. And if my body doesn't feel it, if my heart doesn't feel it, then I have to set that boundary and say, hey, I can't do that. But normally when I take care of me first, it's like the floodgates open. I have it's women that just want to, but I have to take care of me first.
Yeah.
I never want to pour into another woman from my own hurt place. I want to pour into her from my healed place.
Absolutely.
So
that is so important. What practices or rituals have been the most transformative in your life?
Meditation. Yeah, meditation. And I started off years ago with 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And now I can sit for hours.
Yes, it's incredible.
And I'm still expanding, just walking meditation, staring into the mirror.
That's a hard one at times.
Yes. When that ego needs to be dealt with, that's the one you do. Go sit there and don't budge.
Don't move. Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yes. So when that ego needs to be addressed, that's the way to go. But meditation has been, and then I fast a lot. I do, and that was just a principle that I carried over. But yeah, I've done my goal, and I'll share this publicly. My goal is a 40-day fast. I've done 15.
Oh wow!
And so yeah,
is it just a water fast or what?
Yeah.
Wow. That is. So how did you work up to 15?
1 day, 3 days. I did several 72-hour fasts, 5 days. I think between 5 and 15, that was it. There wasn't any. I just went from to 15.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. And again, that's everybody. You have to be called. You have to feel that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got to feel
absolutely.
it. But that helps me a lot.
How does that help you?
You deal with the shadow that you didn't even know was there. You deal with the ego that you thought you had processed. You deal with fear. You face your fear. I feel like everything that we ever desire is on the other side of fear. And when I don't eat, that's what else can I do? And if I tell myself what I'm gonna do, die. Okay, well if I die, then I die. I'm here. Like I'm not going in the kitchen. I'm not gonna do this. So
I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah. So it helps you face your fears. What if I look this way? What if this happens? And so it just shifts everything in a way that you take your hands off.
Yeah.
You take your hands off and you let spirit do its thing, and that's where you meet source. Seriously. It's some people use plant medicine and some people don't eat.
Yeah.
You're gonna find that. You're gonna find yourself. You're gonna meet God. God you're gonna meet that. But that's just paths that I've taken.
So what kind of experiences have you had during meditation?
Probably my most intense is, I would say, 12th dimension dragon energy.
Oh wow.
Yeah, turning into a dragon, flying, moving, going through different realms and dimensions. But 12th is where I've gone. Now they're infinite, but I've gotten to 12, and so
I'd been meditating for a little while, and I tell people, when you start meditating, you're going to feel like you're doing it wrong. Because your mind's going to race and the ego is going to tell you to get up and you don't need this doesn't work, it's not important, we have other things to do. But give yourself space and sit there and do not budge, kind of like you said with the mirror. And the first time that I had, for me, it was a profound experience, especially at the time. But I had like past loved ones come and visit, and we had conversations, and I thought that I was going crazy. Like, I was like, I'm making this up, right? There's no way I mean, I didn't even know it was a thing because I had just started this journey.
Right.
And I'm still relatively new to a lot of it. But then I received a message from actually a grandfather. And I said, okay, yeah, I'm making this up. I was like, well, why? I mean, why would that even come to my mind? Like, I haven't thought about him, or anyway. So we had a conversation, and he told me to give a message to my dad. I've never shared this like publicly, but and so I was like, yeah, no, there's no way that I'm going to tell my dad. I mean, no. So
thanks for coming, but no.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah. So anyway, it was months, and I guess my dad and I were having lunch and just kind of talking about meditation. And again, did not grow up with any of this. Like, we meditated on the Bible. We didn't like meditate because that was evil.
Yeah.
So anyway, I got the nerve up and I shared it with my dad, but I asked him because my grandfather gave me information. He said, well, ask him about this. It's something that I wouldn't know, right? And I did, and Daddy was like, yeah, like it was about a red wagon or something. And he's like, how did you know that? And I was like, well, funny you ask. Here's the message. But that was the first experience, like confirmation that I had, and it was, oh my gosh, it's incredible, and I mean, like, there are no words to describe how just surreal those moments are.
Yeah, it's tapping into source energy and that version of your dad and your grandfather. It's healing for you. It's healing for you too.
Yeah.
But it just shows your heart, to serve, like your heart to be a vessel. Like, okay.
Yeah. Like, here we are. We're doing this.
I have to put my ego aside, because what if I say this and my dad thinks I'm crazy, and that you got to put the ego out the way.
I know. And again, my ego is like, no, we're not going to talk about this to anybody.
Yeah.
But and that's another thing along this journey. I've had to put so much of that behind, like the ego part, and worried about what people are going to think. The fear. Like, I never called myself like a fearful person, but guess what? I mean, when you're faced with things that you're like, okay, I have a message and this is what we're going to talk about, or even like the videos that we share and things we talk, I mean, that are not the norm. Like, we were completely stepping outside of the box that we were taught to stay in, that most people stay in, right? And it can be a lonely journey at times.
Yeah. It can be lonely, and the moment that you realize that you have everybody you need right there,
exactly.
It's like, yes.
But it's okay.
But then your tribe comes in. It's like at that moment when you're like, okay, well, maybe I'm crazy. I remember thinking I was so crazy, and I was like, I think I'm gonna have to tell my children they got to check me in, because like I'm seeing things and I'm hearing things, and I'm gonna just have to tell them. And it was my daughter, and so she said, well, what do you fear? And I said, I fear I'm losing my mind. Yeah. Well, what else do you fear? I fear I'm gonna have to be put in an institution, and then what? And she just kept going. And I was like, and she was like, yeah, Mama, that's just detachment.
Listen,
and I was like,
she's so far ahead of most of us. That's amazing.
Yes. But she took me down this whole, and I realized you have to be in that source space. You have to be so detached from the ego. And so what if I look crazy? So what if I am in a, because a lot of times what we say, people who have, schizophrenic episodes, or it's just that they're tuned in to so much of the spirit.
So right. I know.
And they're talking to somebody who can't relate. So here, let me just diagnose you, put you on some medicine, or lock you up, or do something like that. But the reality is their veils are just so thin. And so it's what they, even if they hear an energy that's saying do something negative, or something that we would say bad, or something that we say. It doesn't mean that energy isn't there. They're not making that up.
No.
That energy needs love too. Just send that energy back to source with love. And that, so Yeah, so detaching from all of those outcomes of what people think
Yeah.
is tough. And we're on the journey. We keep doing it every day. Every
Yeah.
day.
Mm-hmm.
Every day we
And we
detach.
wake
Which is
up and decide to do it
mhm,
again today.
mhm,
That's right.
mhm. Today.
And and I said, like, I mean, well, I say that it can be a lonely journey. However, the empowerment that you get, it's like it doesn't even compare,
Mhm.
you know? And
Now
you don't want to go back.
my astrological sign is Scorpio, so I kind of got a heads up on other people who aren't Scorpio because I
Yes.
like to be love being by myself.
So do I. So
Yeah.
I'm a Leo sun, but I am uh Scorpio moon and Scorpio
Oh,
rising.
oh, that's why. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. That
Yeah.
alone time is
Oh,
where we connect. And I mean that's
yes.
we're the sign of death, transformation, and rebirth. So it
That's
makes sense
right.
that we have to go into some dark places in order to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, you bring up astrology, and I know about this much, right? And
I'm right there with you.
okay, good, good. But it's so interesting because once you start looking into it and look at the different personalities or personality types of the different signs and learning how the planets like affect everything, all the stuff, you realize that okay, so you brought up schizophrenia, right? Which I have said this like for years about I don't believe that
Yeah.
they just have schizophrenia. It's something like they're tapping into something and they don't know how
Mhm.
to process it and then they
Mhm.
talk to a medical professional or whoever, right? And they
Mhm.
don't understand it, like you said, and put them on medicine and then that takes them down a dark journey, you know? So, I think another aspect of like the like astrology is okay. So, Virgos. My daughter is a Virgo, and she is very much like she needs things in order. She's going to ask what time we need to leave, how much time do I have. She has to have everything just so, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
And if someone was to diagnose that, it would be like, well, this person has OCD or this person has this or that. But actually, that's just part of their sign and who they are.
Yeah.
That's a big aspect that I think that we're missing
Right.
with so many people that we don't understand enough about, or many of us, not us, but many we don't believe in it. Like astrology was not okay in the religious world, right?
Right. We were not able to tap into that at
Yeah,
all. And
exactly.
however, the three wise men followed a star to
Mm-hmm.
find their savior. So,
I know.
it's
Yes.
it's
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, neither here nor there. Everything that they told us to fear was really kind of like keys. And I say this even with astrology, we left that as a roadmap to
Mm-hmm.
self. Everything is just us.
Mm-hmm.
We're the only thing that exists, and
Yeah.
everything that we see are projections of what's happening internally.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we look at astrology, it's just a projection to help us understand what's happening internally.
Yes.
And
That's
so these
right.
signs, the astrological signs, the stars, those were roadmaps to help us find ourselves
Yeah.
internally. And
Yes.
so, yes, so saying, even if you take someone who's dealing with what they would call OCD, no, there's
Right.
somewhere internally that's just a part of her path, her process. How does how does it make her feel? Why is she feeling this way? What does she need to do about it?
Yes.
It's just like everything else, every other lesson we learn,
Exactly. And just think
and
if
it doesn't mean it's a problem. As
no, and that's my point. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. That is just part of her journey, right?
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
And so just think about had I know I can say personally, but had I had this information when my children were younger, I would have
yeah,
raised them,
yeah, yeah,
because
yeah,
we know that our children are different. We are all different, right?
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
But I would have taken all that into account and understood who they really are
yeah,
and where their journey was taking them.
yeah,
And I mean, and so and I think that there are a lot of people that are diagnosed with so many things, and that is just simply like we said, part of their journey, and it's not a diagnosis. It's who they are. Yeah.
And understanding their superpowers. ADHD is not a problem. ADHD is a superpower.
And I have I have ADHD, and it's and wasn't diagnosed until I was.
Who have ADHD don't always feel like it's a superpower.
No.
If I could just,
no, oh my gosh,
just turn it down just a minute.
It just some days it's like, okay, can you not like I don't need a day where you're like full force ADHD. Just give me a little today.
Yeah. But I mean, it's we're in a good place that we figured it out. When I told you the ages of the children, so I have 2 sets, the older 3.
Yeah.
And now we can talk about these things, even healing our relationship. They could come to me and say, Mama, that hurt when you did that. And I can say, I'm sorry, because I don't have this burden to be perfect. It's like, oh, when I did, I was hurt from this. And that's probably why I put that on you. I'm so sorry.
Is that not an amazing part of this journey too?
And my girls are like this with me. And now, I have the second set of children who have come up in my aware state.
Yeah.
And they get things like, they'll say, my mom's a witch, so don't, like when you come to her house, don't worry about it. Just, it's okay. Or I think for Christmas 2 or 3 years ago, which is funny, but Christmas, I got their birth charts read, all 3 of the younger ones. Well, I did all of the children. And so it's not like there's no taboo subject. They can come to me and talk about it and ask me questions, and and my youngest one, it's hard. Like, I had to homeschool her because she couldn't be in school. She just kept saying, Mama, what is it for? Why are we here? Like,
Same.
And she, well, do you remember your other life? And I'm like, if they go to school talking like this,
no, look,
just stay at home with me.
I know. Yes, with our children, I know that, like, personally, learning in religion that we're not supposed to listen to our emotions, and I think it's incredible and beautiful, and that, like, you are teaching your children to listen to your how does it feel, because I mean that's our guidance.
Yeah.
We weren't given emotions just like, there's a reason we have all these emotions. There's a reason that we have these feelings, and that we're picking up on like the energies and stuff, because that is, that's our guiding system.
Yeah. I mean, raising teenagers in this life is a lot different. They go to the parties and they tell me, Mommy, they're going to be drinking at this party and they do this. Well, okay. Do you want to go? Yeah, I don't do it. I'm not going into, okay. Now, and I trust that they understand. And so what we talk about is, well, why are they doing that? What's happening at home for them that they need to cope and deal with?
That's
and
right.
So they're able to see it from a totally different perspective. Like, oh, his dad doesn't talk to him. Oh, this mom. And so it's like, this isn't something I want to do because it's cool. I don't really have a bad situation. Like, I don't want to do that.
That's right.
I don't want to feel like that. Okay. And so it helps handling the peer pressure when they know what they know. And I'm not saying they'll never try it, but it's not a taboo subject. It's not a taboo. It's not.
That's right.
Any judgment or pressures.
And they understand, like, I don't have to do this because of peer pressure, or because there's a void that I need to do the cool thing, because I'm not listened to at home, or I don't have a healthy relationship there. So I need that acceptance and not the rejection. And that is amazing that our children can walk into those situations and not feel the need to partake in whatever's going on. They can just simply say confidently, no, I'm good.
Yeah. My 15-year-old, I told her she started having dreams. I'm a dreamer, so a lot of my things come through dreams. And so my download, it's wow. The question, when do I sleep? I don't know, because I'm dreaming. I'm doing stuff in every other.
I love it.
Somewhere in the astrals, but she is starting to have these dreams, and I said, well, you have new gifts coming online now. And she said, well, what does that mean? I said, well, now you're tapping into this, and I said, so now you'll be able to walk by people. You'll know what they're thinking. You have to, just process it, hear it. You don't have to do anything about it, but you're going to start feeling it. And so I'm telling her these things. And then I told her something else, and she had a dream about it that night. And she was like, how did you know? said, don't worry, you'll figure it out. You're gonna start knowing.
I love watching it unfold too, because I'm watching something similar in our space here. We're starting to see our gifts.
Yeah.
And dreams is huge. And channeling, like some of that's starting to come out, and these messages, and then like they're like, where did that even come from? I was like, well, funny you ask. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
And it is just the coolest experience.
Yeah. With the I used to have I called it a prophetic school when I was in church, but I would talk about, and it made more sense to me after, when I realized that everything is energy and everything is life. But I would get objects and sit things down. Like I would sit a cup. Now I want you to prophesy to this cup. What would this cup need to know? How did it get here? What could you say that's going to help it be a better version of itself? And so I started practicing when I was teaching people, have them practice with objects. And then, and then fast forward. So now what we do as a family, like on our road trips, one person will send a number. And, they send a number to everybody in the car. And then who gets the number? We do numbers, we do colors. And so I have grandchildren. And so now even the grandchildren will get it right. And they're like, you said that to me. And I'm like, yes. And so it helps with even understanding life, though, because what I show them is even if I'm not here, I still can communicate with you. Even if I'm not here, you're going to always hear me, and I'm going to hear you. I'll feel you. If you're somewhere and you need me, just send me a message. I will be there. Like, and so, but our road trips are hilarious because we're in the car.
I love that. We're going to start doing that.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That, one thing I have, like, the kids and I, we talked about it, and one of them, she was always afraid that something would happen to me. And I said, this is the thing, even if it does, I said, when we die, like, energy, you can't destroy energy. Like, it's still here, right? It's just in a different form.
Right.
And I said, so I'm still going to be here. And then I joke with them. I'm like, I'm gonna like play jokes on you and all this stuff, and we have fun. But we have like a certain thing. Like, I love flowers and I love plants. And she said, will you leave me flowers? And I was like, absolutely. That's what's gonna happen if when something happens, And I'd cross over and I said, I will send you flowers. So that's our sign. And but yeah.
And so my mom loved butterflies. And so every major event that we've had, whether it was my daughter graduating, 8th grade graduation, like everything that we had, and her favorite color was yellow. We'll see a yellow butterfly. And so we know, like, we'll just say, oh, Granny's here. Granny's here.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
And I love it too, because once you understand how this works, you're not afraid of death, because you know that you don't die.
Right.
Yeah. It's just, you're just in a different form.
Death is an illusion. Yeah. But Shar talks about it. It's like you wake up and you're like, wow, that dream felt real. And so when I wake up literally and I have the dreams that feel real, I'm like, okay. And so, it gets to a point where you almost don't know, which world am I in now? Oh, okay.
Yes.
I got to use these hands in this world. I can't just fly to the...
I know.
But yeah, it's just, which dream, which one is real? And
I know.
And
I've heard so many times that like, this is the actual dream.
Yeah. This is the dream. Everything. And when we get to the real, they're like, oh, that's what you said. You're going to say it was strange. I know.
Yeah.
I've been a death doula as well.
What's that?
So you have a birth doula, which helps coach a woman in labor.
Yes.
Well, a death doula is also, so when families have someone transitioning and they know, usually you get that in like hospice type thing where you know what's happening, but it's not it's not a car accident, but like something that's transitioning over time. And you just help support the family and let them know what's going on, so that in how to comfort the person. And being an intuitive person, then I'm hearing all these voices. So it's interesting. But that helped me see how much of an illusion it was, because the moment that I saw the transition in the body, I still felt the energy. And I'm like,
okay.
It's just, yeah. So it really is, when I say death and time is an illusion, we just don't understand it fully. Sometimes we don't grasp the concept fully, but they're just not here in this physical anymore. But the energy is never destroyed.
Yeah, the energy's still here.
And it's you. Remember, if nothing else exists outside of you, it's just a version of me now that can, that I can tune into.
Yes, absolutely. Tell me about your website. It's the Ascension Portal, right?
So the Ascension Portal was birthed out of the idea or the reality that we only ascend by going inward, and that's our ascension. And I saw a lot in the spiritual community, just social media and things. People wanted to do something. There was this, I want to do, how do I do this? And I started, I know I'm a Reiki master. Like, I did a lot of the healing I did, and I needed those experiences. But my ascension wasn't until I went within. And going inward is where I realized, oh, okay, that's where I could tap into. The deeper I went within myself and being authentic and raw and true, and that's where I realized that I was now ascending to higher levels, or different levels in different dimensions.
Yes.
But it wasn't in doing any of these things, because I could logically learn a skill and perform a skill, but it wasn't until I was processing that inside that I realized, oh, now I get it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can relate with that. I'm a Reiki master too, and an emotion code and body code practitioner, and I love it. And I love energy healing. I love that aspect of it. But I can relate exactly with what you said. Not that I'm moving away from that by any means,
right?
But it's just like you're in a different phase. I don't focus on that as much because I'm learning how to go within, and that resonated with me.
Helping another person, in that way. Let's say we're moving energy, but they're not willing to do the rest of the work.
Exactly. That's right.
We'll drain you. Will drain you. And
yes, it will.
Ethically, I know that you can come and have this financial exchange with me, but my desire is not that. I already know. I already know that all of my needs are met. So I don't really want to do that. To me, that crosses an ethical boundary. Do the work. Let's do the work. So that I'm not moving. You have to do the work, and eventually you realize you don't need me. And I think
that's right.
Great, if you want to be great at this, if you want to be a great spiritualist in this community, help people get to the point that they don't need you.
That they don't need you. That's right. And you can move energy. You can help their bodies release energy. However, if they haven't done the inner work, they're going to take on the same energy and they're going to be right back, So that, yes, that very much is true. And I felt, you said draining, and I did find that, and kind of almost, not disappointed, but, I would feel not responsible. I don't know the word that I'm looking for, but it would make me feel not bad, but knowing that, it was only temporary because they hadn't done the work. Yeah.
So instead of getting Reiki clients, I'd much rather have a coaching client that's going to do the work,
Yes.
Because
absolutely.
You want to empower them to do their own stuff.
That's right. And that's where the real healing and real change happens. One more question for you. So if someone listening feels like they're on the edge of becoming someone new, they've like reached that point, what would you tell them?
Keep going.
Don't stop.
Keep going. Don't stop. And be crystal clear on the new identity and live it out to the fullest. Wake up in the new identity.
Yes.
Ask yourself, what would I do? What does this new person do? Have the conversation with the new identity and live it out to the fullest.
Yes.
Yeah.
And don't stop in the gap.
Don't stop in the
Because
gap.
you'll be back.
Guaranteed. Remember certain
Guaranteed.
things.
No doubt about that. That's right.
Yeah.
So tell everyone where they can find you, and I'm going to put everything in the descriptions too.
Oh, awesome. Okay, so my TikTok is Rashidah Pookie Young, and I think that's where so TikTok, and then my YouTube is Rashidah Young, and as well as my Instagram is Rashidah.Young. So you can find me there. The website is the ascensionportal.org.
Okay, that sounds great. Well, Rashidah, this conversation has been so enlightening, and it has just been an honor to sit and speak with you. And I want to thank you again so much for joining me tonight.
Thank you so much. I have enjoyed every part of this conversation. You are a beautiful, beautiful being, and I really do honor you.
Well, I will say the same about you. And again, I'm going to continue to watch your videos because they inspire me. And I'm going to say it again, they get me pumped. And so thank you. Thank you for doing the work that you're doing. And again, thank you for being such a beautiful soul and having the heart to just empower the people that you've empowered. So thank you.
I'm a reflection of you.
Thank you. You're so beautiful. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. My heart is so full after this conversation with Rashidah Young. There is something incredibly powerful about sitting with a woman who has done the inner work, who has walked through her own rebirth, and who now holds space for others to rise. If something she said spoke to you, trust that. If you felt a nudge, a pull, a remembering, that's your intuition showing you where you're being guided next. You can connect with her through the social links and the Ascension Portal that I've listed in the description. And as always, thank you for being part of this community. If this episode spoke to you, please share it, leave a review, and make sure that you're subscribed so you don't miss any of our conversations. And remember, you are not alone in this journey, and you're exactly where you're meant to be.